Alright guys, apologies, sorry. Had a unexpected phone call which I need to attend to, so hope you're all doing well. Apologies for keeping you guys waiting. Without further ado guys, let's get this shown. Alright, just give me 1 second. Alrighty guys, here we go. As always, good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening wherever we are around the world. Hope you're all doing well guys. Hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Just removed some of these drawings from some charts I sent into the members group prior to the stream. So obviously massive week last week with all the news about with obviously the election shaking things up. Things will probably be a little bit quieter today. Obviously we do have Euro bank holiday and also coupled with a US bank holiday as well, so likely going to be very little volume, but we'll see anyway what we can come up with. Moving forward into the week, we do have core CPI, which is one of the leading indicators for the Fed as to the inflation, a reading of inflation data, and also we have later in the week PPI as well. So more not a massive week. Obviously for the pound we wait until Friday for news that will impact us, but or that's Thursday evening, sorry, getting confused with the time difference. But otherwise probably a relatively quiet week after a huge week last week. So let's see what we can come up with moving forward guys. So hope you're all doing well. If you could smash the like button, do say g'day to those of you who are in the chat. Please read that pin message, get involved guys, I would appreciate it. Without further ado, let's start and let's take a look at GJ to begin guys. Excuse me, sorry guys, just been a little bit flat out sending things up, but anyway, let's get cracking. Let's have a look at GJ, and starting at the weekly, previous weekly candle closed back with a long wick to the upside. That would suggest to me that we've grabbed liquidity from the upside. It was an inside bar candle. If you guys remember what I said last week on stream, that based off the previous candle prior to that, the likelihood if we broke the high, it would make a clean impulse to the upside would be quite high, as would likelihood if it broke the low of it, that we would come down to obviously next support, which wasn't too far below. But obviously we closed an inside bar candle. Did close with a long wick to the upside, which would normally suggest to me that perhaps we'll grab some more liquidity from the upside, which lines up with some support here around at 199.50, but we only rejected at that point and closed back bearish. So based off that, if we were to continue bearish, it's not much of a need for us to pull back too far into that previous weekly candle. What we can see is also, if we were to look to the left here guys, it's starting to resemble this, so the wick's opposite way around, but the pattern within price action, what we did here was we broke out, retested, impulse here, broke out, retested. Are we now going to make another impulse? So once again, if we do begin to break that previous weekly candle's high, start to pop above that key level, that 200 flat, I feel there's a good chance we could make a nice clean impulse to the upside. Daily structure, we are bullish. Candle probabilities, well, current daily has a high low. We're bouncing out of support here to the left as well, forming a very strong bullish candle within the current daily candle. So based off that, we'll see what else we've got on the other time frames. We could be looking to see where potentially we could pull back to within this daily candle, what data we've got for potential levels of support which could provide us with our buy options from, or our levels of support which could also provide for our sell options if we do begin to pop below those levels. We're also going to mark in the current daily candle high. We're going to see what we've got above it. 4 hour, well, creating some nice clean candles, bouncing off this support. Structure wise, we actually remain bearish as long as we remain below the highs, so below that 199.80. However, we have broken a resistance, broken out of a resistance within the current daily candle. Just going to mark that in to begin. I want to see if we've retested it yet. Not yet formed a resistance on this recent impulse. So as far as resistance to the upside, we'll mark in a level of the 30 because we're quite a distance away from 199, that level for the time being. So technically bearish, but what we've done is just, you could argue, we create a high within price action coming from the support back at that 190.97 sort of level. Onto the 30. All right, we can see we have not yet retested. Let's quickly look at the 15. Not yet retested. Let's look at the 5 minute. Not yet retested. All right, so we know there's a high probability at some point that price may come back down to retest this resistance to grab some liquidity from the downside before it was to continue back up. Now, so I mean, based off that, I'd definitely be interested in looking for the buys from lower down. If it did do so, pull back further, retest that resistance, and we had our price action catalyst form at that previous resistance. So as long as we remain above that 197.80, we look for the potential buys. We are bullish on the 30 minute. We have flips, so the buys is technically neutral, but using the strength of the current daily and the 30 minute structure, at this point I probably would prefer to buy it. Now, what we've also done is just form support on the move to the upside at this 198.10 sort of level. So having said that, I prefer to buy it. If we were to continue bullish, should respect this level, come down, and we could potentially look for a buy from above that 198.10. So long as we get the right calcium price action. Not sure if the 15 is going to offer as much. It looks like with that wick it could be quite a mess, but we'll see. Let's have a quick look at it on the 15. Could be still potential buys if we do come back down a little bit further and we have the margin. But once again, having said that, if we were to continue bullish, we should respect this support. That means a high probability we would respect this support. So therefore, knowing that this is the most recent support we formed within the current day's candle, which is forming strong bullish to the upside, then there is not much of a need for us to break it if we were to continue bullish. And if we do so, what we have is clean traffic to the left. At that point, I feel there's a high probability we will eventually come back down to that 197.80 to retest that 4-hour resistance, which we had broken out of during the Asian session today. So with the bias being neutral, I'd be happy to trade it in either direction for today. So that is where I could look for potential sells. Now, further buy options. Let's have a look at the 15. A little bit of resistance, a little bit higher up. So let's just drag it up a bit. So further buy options above this 198.40. We begin to pop above, close above that point there. Potentially, actually, probably prefer the closure above and look for the impulse above the current daily candles high. There's a good chance of coming up to that 198.55 sort of level. So that could provide an option for the buys above the resistance formed on the 15-minute current daily candles high. However, pulling back, we're tapping into that support just now, and let's see how we react to it. So that is GJ, guys. Pretty straightforward. We'll see if we do pull back up only to reject the resistance here. Once again, it's about the price action catalyst, and those of you who've been following me for quite some time should know exactly what I'm talking about. If we did retest that 198.35 roughly only to reject. New 30 minutes just open, we've tapped into that support. Let's see if it does hold or if it flips, and we can potentially look for our buy options. That is GJ. Now hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. If you have a different opinion, let me know. And let's move on to have a look at gold, guys. All right, so been selling off a little bit since the Asian session, so started play for the week. The previous weekly closed back a relatively strong bearish candle. It did leave quite a long wick to the downside. We did close back quite a strong bullish candle on the last day, if I'm not mistaken, or would have been on Thursday. Anyway, strong bearish on the previous weekly candle. Looks like we're at a pretty strong level of support though that we have tapped into. So we did close bearish on the previous daily. All right, so yeah, we're tapped into a strong level of support here to the left. Structurally, I mean, on this particular broker, it's still considering it bullish on the one I sent into the members group. May have those of you who watched it may have heard me say it's bearish. That is because that was 2 candles before, I swear. Anyway, take it back. So that's bullish. So it's bullish, considering that just the pause within price action. This is just one clean impulse to the upside, or one impulsive leg to the upside. However, what we do have is counter probabilities to the downside on the daily right now. Have a bit of room to target though, 26.58, which was the lows of the previous weekly candle, the support. So that is a probable destination. Let's mark in, if we were to continue bearish, so let's mark in the current daily candles low. Also marking the current daily candles high. Now let's see what we got either side of it. So we know we're bullish, but with counter probabilities to the downside. Looking at the 4-hour, and that is technically bearish in structure. Form support on the previous candle, weak support. What we have done, the current candle is, looks like we've created an upper wick and we're now pulling back to create more of a lower wick. Let's mark in the current 4-hour candles high. So let's mark in the previous 4-hour candles high. And it could potentially be options above that level. So we are technically bearish on the 4-hour. Just going to mark in the current daily candles low as the support, as the resistance. Marking the most recent, we've got some levels likely in between. So we know we're bearish, but what we do know is we've bounced off a key level, bounced off a 4-hour and a daily level on Thursday. So therefore, would that be the low of this pullback potentially? What else have we got in the 30-minute? Well, that is technically bearish in structure on the M30. We've broken the previous, like I mentioned, the previous daily candles low. So I'm just going to drag this up a little bit. Let's quickly look at it in the 15-minute. All right, it's a bit of a support, a little bit lower down to 15. All right, so it's going to be my level of support. Have we got the margin below it? It would make sense, seeing within price action, what we've done throughout today is create a bit of an upper wick, create a lower low. Currently, if we did reject, creating a lower high, if we did start to pop below the low, do we have the margin to look for some continuation sells? Not really. Would be tempting though, just using momentum and the volume. However, that's another issue. I'm not sure if we will have the volume today with the lack of liquidity because of the bank holidays. Preference is to look for, if I was to look for the sells below, the preference would be to let it cut through that support to the left, create a bit of a move, retest, and then reject, and then potentially look for options to sell it. That is the high probability trade at this point, because it is a pretty strong level. Support taps into previous resistance here. My concern could be, or would be, that it could bounce off that level. So therefore, I'd probably prefer to see a nice strong closure. And like I said, the retest, maybe let it create the first impulse. Now, further options on gold. What we could do is mark in that level that we have broken out of initially today, that 4-hour support. And we've yet to retest it as well. So if price was to make a clean impulse up towards that 26.80, I'd look for price to reject that zone, that previous 4-hour support, and await a price action catalyst to look for potential sells. That would definitely be an option. And that is basically, I'm preferring the sells at this rate on gold. Move above the daily candle high. What we are doing though is we are consolidating at support. What else have we got to look for buyers? Again, we've got the 4-hour. If we begin to flip and break above that previous 4-hour candles high, pretty clean traffic to the left. Let's quickly look at the 15-minute again. I may entertain the buyers above this resistance. Got a market in M30s and minus resistance. Seeing we're consolidating at the support, if we begin to close above it, at that point we've got 4-hour counter probabilities on our side, with the previous one closing back bullish. We'll look for potential buys from above 26.74.33, which is the most recent resistance form within the current day's candle on the move to the downside. That is gold, guys. Hopefully that all makes sense. As far as the focus for now, GJ, we've got 21 minutes remaining, and yeah, now it's just likely just going to consolidate. If we do pick up steam and approach the highs, it could be options above it, but for the time being I think gold looks probably the better option, but we need to be very careful with gold because of the lack of liquidity, potential lack of liquidity. That is both gold and GCAD. Just quickly guys, it looks a mess. In my opinion, it looks a mess. This is a draw up, a markup I sent into the members group before the stream. So what basically I'm looking at on GCAD is that is really awkward. Looking at the weekly, it's just printing pure trash. You've got candles creating higher highs, higher lows, lower lows, lower high. It's all over the shop. You got long wicks. So basically it's just now at a bit of a crossroads, potentially grabbing some more liquidity before maybe another impulse to the upside, but again, can't trade it based off what we think might happen. We need to wait for confirmations. Very little volume within the current daily candle. Look at the daily itself, the time frame. It is just a choppy mess. Very little direction, absolutely no direction in price action. Structurally, it is technically bearish, so you can use that. So you got daily and weekly is bearish. Got the 4-hour structure remains bearish as well. Again, just a mess. And what we've also got is the 30s technically still bearish from that big impulsive leg from back here on October the 31st. So it's bearish across the board. So what I prefer to see on GCAD is, because it's just a mess at the moment, clean move down, pop back up, look for rejection to sell it, clean pull back up and look for rejection to sell from higher up, potential sells below the support, but you don't have much margin. That is GCAD guys. I pretty much guarantee I won't be trading it today, so anyone who is interested. All right, so in the meantime, good, please hit the like button. Franco, good morning to you, brother. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope your hands all better. Hope you're feeling better. Your finger. Carl, good morning to you. Luke, good afternoon to you, brother. Beats, good morning. It's Mimi. Good morning to you. Hope you're well. And Rick, good morning to you, brother. Lau, good morning, my friend. So, members, I will send you guys a link if anyone is wanting to join. So the stream record is updated after last week, so just hovering above the 80% now. Still very happy with that, but it's been a tough start to November, but it's all good. Don't go changing anything. Consider, actually, where I got caught undone last week was changing things, wasn't it? I took some uncharacteristic trades based off, try to base it more off intuition, what I thought might happen, as opposed to waiting for the right confirmation. Got wrecked. So proof live on stream of, you know, what happens when you don't follow your game plan. Franco, nice one. I'm gonna send an alert on gold to the upside. Also sent one to the downside. Got luck. Do you consider the bias? I definitely do. I'm very big on having a bias, a direction. But what my bias is telling me right now is on GJ anyway, it's technically neutral. I've got two time frames suggesting we're a buy, and I've got 2 time frames suggesting we're a sell. So based off that, I'm happy to trade in either direction. However, what I would do is look for other confluences, such as counter probabilities on the higher time frames, the daily, which we don't have, but we're forming a very strong candle currently. So once again, based off that, I look to see what levels we could potentially pull back to form a support above, to look for an option to buy it, or if it breaks below it and closes below it, potentially options to sell it back down to the next level. Look at the 4-hour counter probabilities. Obviously got the previous one closing strong bullish, We've not yet retested the resistance, so I'm considering that as well. But yeah, so that's GJ. Is technically neutral and biased. Gold is, it's actually bearish right now, the structure, the bias, in accordance to the way I do things. I'm not a bear on gold. I'm a complete bull on gold personally, as far as a long-term, you know, investment or hold. But the fact of the matter is, trading wise, it's technically bearish at the moment. Just remove that. So I would prefer to trade in line with the bias. However, seeing we're bouncing at a support, I still think that we'll see potential for a pullback to 2680, and I might be able to get involved in a buy to take that pullback up. So yeah, definitely do consider the bias though. Rick, you're long on gold 15 minutes ago. I hope it'll work well for you. I'm hoping you got in somewhere low. Or you're talking on about that candle. Alright, so there is no impulse entries for me on GJ. We come from way too far above. 15's closed right at the highs of that support. That's all. How far this candle had to have traveled. Actually, the volume is not really there at the moment. These candles are quite shallow in volume. So from its highest point to the breakout point, you're looking about 18 pips. Oops. Yeah, I'm definitely way on closures at the moment. Because we could just respect this support, head back up and retest the highs of the current daily candle, seeing we are trending to the upside within the current day's candle. And we do have the 30-minute structure itself being bullish. Got stopped out, $3 profits break even, that's alright. At least he managed it. You know, Rick, how big I am with on trade management. Now, I believe it's important not to just set and forget unless you're going to do the same in profit. It's all well and good if you're going to target maybe 1-to-1 and you're going to just let it do its thing, win, lose, or draw. Or obviously not a draw, win or lose. But for me, obviously it's a different story. I like to take some profits off the table, and I like to manage it in a drawdown as well. Look at that. Absolutely pains me to see this. Once again, any altcoin suggestions, guys, I put it into the community chat. Not the community, the crypto section of the free group. No replies just yet. Any altcoin suggestions, I'd love to hear them. I've not really been following the crypto space much at all of late. I'm more interested in the whole economy as a whole, but more about gold, silver, precious metals, things like that. Also, NAS, another all-time high. So obviously the market is quite exuberant at the back of the news from the election. Hence why maybe gold and silver are pulling back a fair bit. More risk on in the markets just now. But I feel it will settle down, to be honest, quite soon. A lot of it would depend on, obviously, Fed. They cut the rates by 25 basis points, but Personally, I can't see gold dropping all that far, and silver as well. I think they both may have healthy pullbacks, but I think eventually I'll head back up to all-time highs, and especially gold continue to the land of discovery. All right, GJ looks like it's trying to pull back. So there could be an option here still. It could be a limit order option. As long as this thing doesn't melt too far. It needs to close about 5 pips below the support. What we've got prior to it is a pretty clean move now. This candle could potentially be a catalyst, but we need to wait 10 minutes. Absolutely smashed the gym today. I have absolutely no energy whatsoever. It's all up in here. All up in between the two ears. No matter how big or small it is, it's all up in there. How you perform when you're at the gym and things like that in general, in life in general. Alright, so we'll see how this closes. If it just melts down to that resistance, it's alright. What we would have done is create a clean move down. So therefore, the move back up would be more probable if we did form support above this 197.80. Playing within clean traffic. There goes GJ. Nice candle, very clean. It's not really pulling back within it. Let's have a look in a minute. Just straight bearish. Yeah, gold is, I feel it's going to be a bit of a tricky one today. Just consolidating at the 4-hour support. Have we broken a previous 4-hour low? I don't think so. Alright, limit orders aren't going to be valid on GJ. It's pulling But so we're about to tap into target as well, so this rate we're going to just need to see how it reacts to the previous resistance. As always, guys, feel free to ask questions if there are any. And if you'd like me to look at any pair, let me know and I'll happily do so. A lot of the indices are either at all-time highs or very close to it. Not just the tech sector, NASDAQ. SP 500. Assuming that's near some highs or at a high. Yeah. Everything is flying. All right, so just over, well, right now 2.5 minutes until closure of this M30. So at this rate, I'm going to need to wait and see how price reacts to previous resistance. Just marking a 50% in that zone. Just in case, it's highly unlikely, but just in case the new candle opens up and melts straight into that zone, then I could potentially look for that impulse buy based off the level, which I've mentioned on stream. I've made you guys take note of it, those of you who follow, and how we see how often it works. So that is potential, but it needs to travel quite a distance to tap into that level, so highly unlikely. Now the other option would be if the new candle just opens up without the upper wick and melts into the previous resistance. Good chance it's going to pull back up, and well, it's good chance it's going to react to that level either way and potentially pull back to create the upper wick. So based off that, based off it tapping into a level, would be worth a little entry. see 10 seconds. We're about 9 pips away from retesting that zone. Right, it doesn't really have an upper wick. Now it does. So that limit buy or impulse buy back at that zone for me is technically not valid. See, we've already now created a bit of an upper wick. My concern would be, based off that previous candle, it did close bearish. Now we've created an upper wick on the new candle. It did pull back and break low of that previous candle, tapping into that resistance, and may end up closing another strong bearish candle. We don't necessarily need to pull back and create the upper wick, grab liquidity from the upside yet again. But nonetheless, still worthwhile watching it just to see how price reacts to it, because it could be something that you could add to your plan in the future. That's what I always do, irrespective of whether it's if it's become invalid as an entry in accordance to my playbook. I still like to keep an eye on it to see how I can potentially implement it moving forward. That's what I would suggest to every one of you. If you want to level up, if you want to continue to progress, this is the best way to go about it. Better to do it on a live chart if you can, as opposed to backtesting software or replay. There's nothing wrong with it though, but preference is to do it on a live chart. We can look at gold, and it's, yeah, just absolutely zero volume on gold at the moment. Now, how could we potentially get involved in buys now upon a confirmation? Well, for me, it will depend on, first of all, obviously I want to see, preferably, actually not obviously, but preferably I want to see a 30-minute closing back bullish. However, as long as we do tap into this resistance to finally retest it, if we were to close weak bearish in the M30 with a long wick to the downside, once again that would suggest to me that we'll perhaps grab that liquidity from this previous zone, which we have broken out of during the Asian session, and we create a low wick on the new candle, begun to break the high of that weak bearish candle. Would be enough to suggest we may pull back to the most recent support. We have just broken around at 198.06 roughly. There could be options to take a buy based off that. Now, stronger confirmation, and this is once again for education, this candle closed bearish like so, the 15-minute, first 15 minutes, and the following candle closed perhaps bullish engulfing or very close to it, like so. Then what that's going to do is close the M30 looking somewhat like so. They're the two 15-minute candles within, and that will again once again suggest we grab liquidity from the downside. So you want it to tap in, and as the new candle opens up, a little bit of lower wickens and begins to break, there's the potential entry. So that's if it closes bearish. If it closes bullish, give you another scenario, but we'll just wait and see. Let's have a look at GU. So I mean, look at that level I marked in on Thursday. Wasn't on stream Friday, wasn't on the charts at all on Friday. Price is still respecting it. GU weekly OG candle did have a higher high and lower low to the previous, so it's a bit of a tough one. However, if we broke the low, I think there's a high probability that we will make another potential clean move down towards that 127.60. Broke the high of the previous candle, there's a good chance that we're going to make a deeper pullback above that 130 flat level. Daily, absolute mess structure wise, we can see. Account probability wise as well, price action wise, it's an absolute mess. What we can see is it's technically bearish in structure, it's technically bearish. The previous candle almost tapping into support. Current candle, as soon as it breaks low of that previous candle, you're heading into a really strong level of price action, so not going to be easy to sell it below that below the previous low. 4 hour structure is also, it's actually, no, it's bearish. Yep, so bias looks like it's going to be bearish on GU. Recently formed resistance to this point here. Our support. And you got a couple levels here, so technically out of support just now on GU in the 4 hour. Yeah, this is a real tough one. That is your 4 hour range technically, and then you can adjust this. All right, so in GU the 30-minute structure is definitely bearish. We'll close below swing point here. Yeah, so the bias is bearish across the board basically, guys. Made a decent move from the current daily counters high. However, you're buying, you're selling into the 4 hour support, so it's not ideal. It would make more sense, if you know, for me anyway, to look for the sales below at 128.750. Let's quickly look at 15. It's likely going to be no, it's still fine below that level as well. Those candles are bearish candle wicks on the 15 as well. So sales below at 128.75 roughly. At that point there, you've got the previous, you've broken the previous daily candles low as well. You would have broken that previous daily candles low. You're breaking a support, 4 hour support. You close below it and pull back to retest it, only to reject. Clean track to the left, there's a good chance to get involved in sells from that point there. Now, further sell options if price did pull back once again towards the current daily candles high, only to reject. Even if it broke, be very careful with it. If it does break, to grab some liquidity from the upside, sweep the Asian session highs, wait for it to retest. Then if you are to look for the buys, you want to get involved as it begins to break that candles high. I would not look for an impulse entry. We'll get caught out in a liquidity grab, a bit of a fake out. And I would not look for the limit order as well in this situation. I'd rather, it's going to be counter trend. I'd rather look for wait for price to close above, retest, continuation. But in all honesty, if it were me today, I'd just patiently wait for a sell setup. I would not look to buy GU. Wow, GJ. Still not retesting that zone. So everything moving without any confirmation at the moment. What do we do, guys? Just need to wait.
Hey Justin, good morning.
Good morning, mate. How are you?
I'm doing alright. How about it?
All good, bro? How's the weekend?
Oh, the weekend was okay.
Yep. Nice one.
It was an okay weekend.
What are you looking at today?
Today, earlier I was looking at the option to take maybe some quick sells on EJ, but the closure was not that great. So I'm just looking at it.
The alley or the...
Yeah, on the alley.
Okay, so you want it to close a little bit lower down. This candle. Yeah. I get ya. Yeah, that's fair enough. 30, not a bad catalyst there, but you got that support to the left as well, so you would have been taking it, assuming it's just going to burst through it in an uptrend as well. So
exactly. But actually, I was looking to get those sales, but I would have just been like in and out on that, because I'm actually looking to buy options a little bit lower.
yeah, I understand. On the pullback.
Yeah, on the pullback.
Yep. Good plan.
Because if you check on the daily structure, it's a retest. It just complete a retest of this zone down here,
over here.
Zone. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still technically, actually, it's bearish, isn't it?
Yeah. It's bearish, but
creating some higher highs, higher lows.
Yeah, breaking higher highs and creating lower highs like that. So
yeah,
higher lows.
Higher lows. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I can see why you'd be looking for the buys based off where it's at, where it's bouncing off. Yeah, I see what you mean. Strong level on the 4 hour. Current daily is forming strong. Look, very similar to GJ also previous candle, I think it was previous or the one before it. So a couple candles back we closed above a resistance. EJ, same type of thing. It's just one candle maybe behind by the looks of it. But so it's retesting a level just now, and if it did form a support. Yeah. Again, it'd be nice to get a pullback, a deeper pullback, a clean pullback, and you can look for the buys.
Actually, that's around where I'm looking at. If we can get a deeper pullback, like down to that level, it would be amazing.
163.80 roughly.
Yeah, roughly 163.80 to about 163.900 like that.
Oh, 900. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
That resistance.
Yeah, because if you look at it, it's kind of like rejected that zones.
Lines up with that.
Yeah, based off that.
Yeah, I don't here.
Yeah. So it's kind of a good area.
Yep. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Just we'll get the option. I mean, GJ's once again it's making the moves without me being involved, but it's all good. So the thing is, EJ's tapped into a level where you could maybe trust that it could bounce from this point. You'd rather it pull back further and create a clean move, because you're going to have more margin to look for a buy moving forward. Whereas GJ actually hasn't retested the resistance it broke out of from last Friday's resistance to the 4 hour level. So
you're looking on also I was looking on EU. Yeah, so looking at it now, it's creating a really good candle to see how it closes, but the only problem is it's very close to it's moving already into a
4 hour level daily.
Yeah, into a 4 hour level. So
yeah,
there's really nothing you can do about it unless it breaks below this lows here. Yeah,
you need it definitely below. Even then
you look to the left again, you see this area that is rejected.
It's not much.
It's a very tricky one.
It's not much clean traffic at all, to be honest, to the downside. There's just one big zone on the daily that you're tapping into, or have already tapped into, and so far keep leaving pretty long wicks to the downside. It's quite difficult based off the evidence from the past few days. Sorry, man.
Yeah, but I would have wanted it to create a pullback.
Yeah.
To create a pullback right up to about 107. But it's already rejecting from this area. Yeah.
Oh, you mean up around here?
No, not necessarily that high up. Maybe
just a deeper pullback.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah, just a deeper pullback.
Yeah, that would
at least
be ideal.
To at least give that margin, but it's already rejecting from here. So let's see what happens.
Yeah. So all of the majors took a bit of a hit towards the end of last week as well.
Yeah.
Back in the news, obviously Trump's quite strong in wanting a strong US dollar.
Yeah, Trump is back up there, so we're going to be getting some news.
Yeah, keep your eye on Twitter, guys. That's all I can say, because you can wake up any time. You could be on it right now. He's typing away, tweeting away, or whatever they call it these days. I just remember it last time. All of a sudden, it'd be, gold's just moved 100 pips in about 2 minutes. Breaking news. Trump says this and that about COVID and what. Inject, what was it? Hand sanitizer into your blood. That should kill the bacteria. Oh, he says some funny things.
He knows how to move the market.
That's it. It's the magic.
Just tweet something and boom.
Yeah, everything reacts. Well, gold always reacts. Bitcoin's reacted. I mean, look at that. That's 100k is it's definitely going to tap in at some point. I'd put money on it. In honesty, it's going to hit 100k.
I remember when was that? 2020, just when the COVID hit, and Bitcoin was like
Pumping.
3k.
Yeah, something like that. Man,
yeah, it was on 3k that time. I was looking to let me just buy a little.
Yeah, so
then
was I.
The bank I was using at the time did not accept my transaction.
Yeah.
So I tried and the bank just kept rejecting. I did everything. I just said, okay, let me just let it be. And behold, 2 to 3 months later, Bitcoin was hitting 60k.
Yeah. I remember that. I remember it too, man. I was thinking about buying and then not knowing what was going on with everything. For maybe better to wait. But that's, to be honest, when the markets are fearful, that's when you should be buying. Best time to buy.
And you know, I was so mad at it. I just changed that bank. I've never used it again.
I would 100%. I'd be out the door if they wouldn't deny a transaction because of a crypto purchase or whatever. The banks don't want it because obviously it's gonna, they're gonna lose money if people start to use more adopt crypto. I don't trust banks at all. I really don't trust banks. I had to go into one today and I really didn't like being there. That was just to activate a bloody card which for some reason wouldn't activate online or on the phone. So I had to go into the branch.
I think GU has a little bit of margin for a sell.
Yeah, I think it looks better below 128.750 to be honest.
On the early though, it looks a little bit different.
Yeah, if you're talking about closing below this,
below that bullish candle.
That bullish candle. Yeah. The issue is going to be,
but it's
stop loss.
Going to if I would take that, it needs to create a really reasonable wick to the top.
What would you look for? A limit or to sell?
No, I wouldn't look for a limit. I would just wait for it to come back down to break the low.
Yeah.
Depending on how it closes.
Yeah. Use the entry candle as wick as a stop loss.
Yeah.
The issue is it could make the move just now. There's a lot of volume. This candle itself is steaming for GU. It's already over 30 pips.
That's a huge move for GU.
Yeah, for GU. Franco, your GU analysis. Thank you, mate. I mean, look at GJ now on the alley. Still not tapped in though. Look, gold coming down. Yeah, I'd be hesitant as well today because of the bank holidays as well. Need to be a bit wary of that. Gold tends to not really, well, doesn't tend to move. Sorry, is what I should say. During the London session of the days that it's a US bank holiday, tends to lack liquidity. Wouldn't help that it's a holiday in, but Franco, it's not in Germany, is it? I think it's just France, is it? If I'm not mistaken. So obviously Germany is the, is it still the #1 in Europe? Europe as well, I guess. Oh, okay. Remembrance Day, or that's what it is here today, but it's not a public holiday. Probably should be. Not in Germany? Oh, okay. The volume could still be there. Well, there's obviously volume right now on GJ. Yeah, here it's, I don't know what the public holiday, what is the public holiday for France and okay. I'm assuming it's the same type of thing as Remembrance Day here in Oz. Veterans Day, yeah, so it's the same thing basically. So the 11th hour, 11th minute is supposed to stop for a minute silence. I don't think anyone did, to be honest. I think a lot of people forgotten about the virtues of the past, to be honest. Not enough people have respect, but anyway. Should have a general stream one day, like on a weekend, just talk, open it up, Zoom call for anyone to join and just have a chit chat. Not a bad idea. DJ, very volume. So we're approaching London Open, and right now there is not much I can do in terms of entries. What we could potentially look at though, as long as this candle in the next 6.5 minutes doesn't make the move up, not really much margin. But what I'm thinking, this closed strong up near its high without pushing any further, because then there's just no margin to really even manage it. If there's about 9, once you count the spread, about 8 pips to this resistance within the range, could maybe just go to break even at that point, in anticipation that we're likely seeing we've bounced, forming a nice strong bullish candle. We've created a pullback, a higher low. There's a good chance we will retest the current daily counter high if that's the volume momentum, so it could be an early entry. It could continue to the upside, but what I want to see prior to it being valid is for the next 15-minute candle to form a little bit of a pause back above this previous support, and as soon as price begins to break it on the second 15-minute London Open, that could be the entry. But right now it's, yeah, it looks like it's not going to give us the option because it's pushing a little bit further into the zone, so there'd be absolutely no margin at all. Rick, smash the likes. Let's get the stream. Yeah, it'd be great if you could, guys. Appreciate you guys. There's this core of about 25 to 30, which I think support me pretty much every stream. I do really appreciate it. But it would be great to get numbers up a little bit. Still got the comp going, by the way, for the VIP. Pinned a message into the chat if you're not sure what I'm talking about. What is GCAD doing? Oh, that's a bit better. Once again, observe guys. Look what's happened when price is tapped into a 4-hour zone. Both 15-minute candles have rejected so far. Would you have got in a trade and secured some profits? Maybe, maybe not. Looks like this candle may have given you an option. But it's definitely something I'm keeping an eye on, and don't be surprised if in the new year you see some new entries. I added already about 3 over the past year, 2 or 3. Since pretty much the old stream was in the old stream move now. And I'm looking to add another 1 or 2 probably into the new year. All right, 3 minutes remaining until it's session open. So not flipped any structure on a 30, we flipped some structure on a 15. So if we do reject the highs current daily, the resistance at that point there, seeing we made a pretty clean move prior to the move back up. If rejected, could be options potentially to sell it. Now we're just bouncing off. Not yet, well, it's not yet tapped into that resistance, but we are forming a very strong bullish candle. Obviously going to close a very strong bullish candle. We'll just play it range bound at the moment. Look for sells from the resistance as well. Quickly look at gold again. All right. So once again, sells below aren't going to be easy because of the traffic to the left. All about patience, guys. Last week I was not really patient, to be honest. That's, you know, what caused, it was a poor week. Two losses and 2 break-evens for me last week. And both the trades on stream, I think, were not within the rules if I was to be technical about it. That's GJ. Looks like this 15 is rejecting. So there's nothing at session open, guys. There's nothing right now. Look, GCAD, right, GU. EU's at a really high time frame support, so if you get EU, too late to that. There's nothing for the time being. what I'm about to do is just remove this zone as well, guys. See, we've up through it to the downside and we'll cut back through it to the upside. To me, just gonna remove it now. Really lacking volume right now on gold. Got no upper wick, so it's just no volume to trust it, to be honest. Rick, what is the record people in the stream? 101, and I am counting. I was counting. That's when, I mean, the streams were on fire. I think it was June or July. We're getting between 70 around. We're getting about 70 a stream for best part of 3-4 weeks. 90 on occasion, and we got to 101. It's the highest I've seen it tick over to. But it's alright. I'm planning some bigger things for next year. I'm gonna wait until then. But next year, I'm sure you'll see me up in the list with, you know, more numbers. Now 93, could be 93, or maybe I'm thinking of TikTok was over 100. Maybe I was thinking of that, but yeah, definitely in the 90s, if not 100. I'm pretty sure I saw it tick over to 100 on it once. No, it wouldn't have been December or January, because what do you mean? That's when we'll get there. Yeah, it was mid-year or something. TikTok was definitely over 100. That's a disappointment, because I don't understand. I can still access, well, not access, I can still see that profile, the old profile, but I can't access it. It just says account doesn't exist. So I did get the message I was officially banned, permanently banned. So I'm assuming it is. But I have started a new TikTok channel. There's only 4 videos now. I think I posted another one today. Only like 11 followers. If you guys could follow. If anyone is on TikTok, I'll share it. Hold on. $11 followers. Gonna be a long bumpy ride. I can't go live because I don't have enough followers. Cole, you going to top us wearing a mask next year? As far as big plans, not sure about that, but could keep part of the audience entertained. I don't know, maybe. Nah, that's it. I'm not a clown like the other guy who wears a mask, can't reveal his face for whatever reason. Good on him though, because as a marketing employee, he's done well. They're on the mystery of the man behind the mask. Yeah, from Singapore, I think. Rick, I think we will get there today if he starts to. Had a good session today, so I feel pretty pumped. Tell you what, I'm still keeping up with the 18-year-olds and 20-year-olds. Big lads these days. It must be all the hormones that's stuffed into the food and into the ground, and all the additives and that, the soil, whatever it is, all the chemicals, all that crap makes the kids grow. Vish one up, first time, nice one. If you make sure, if this is your first time, to subscribe as well if you could, that'd be much appreciated. Yeah, we kill it. I mean, stream record shows, proof in the pudding, 80%. We're very patient with the way we trade, so not in and out every 2 seconds. But you definitely learn a thing about, you know, being patient and sticking to a plan and having discipline with trading. It's what I preach, and you'll definitely learn a lot if you're willing to focus and pay attention and turn up to the stream. So hopefully we'll see you in a chat more often. Feel free to ask questions. If you have any queries, any charts you'd like me to look at, let me know. It's funny telling people to be patient all day. Oh, who, that guy? Or he's trading while the guy is waiting. Oh, the Chinese guy. Charts look legitimate. Thank you. You have subscribed, turn on notifications too, and press by the levels you drew. Nice one, mate. Appreciate it. We're gonna just remove this horizontal. Actually, we'll leave it in there, just in case price does pop back down towards that previous resistance. We make some bank. Copy trade plan. China's got, yeah. Looks really fast though. Once or twice that I've tuned in to see what's going on. Alright, it's London Open. Bit of volume, obviously. GJ has now created a deeper move towards the current daily candle high, pulling back towards the high. Essentially retesting the resistance. Got 21 minutes remaining in the current M30. Let's see if and when it does, how price reacts to this level of resistance. And we could look for potential buy options above, or we could also look for rejection and see how we can get involved in a sell. Again, after last week, I'm going to be more patient, more disciplined, because again, just goes to show live last week what happens when you're not patient and wait for your plan, from your playbook, for one of your patterns, one of your signals to present. Reason being is, I think because I got away with it. The week prior to it was a really good week, guys remember, and a couple of entries were based on a bit of intuition. So I thought maybe I can get away with it again, and I got burnt last week. So that was the worst week for the year for me. All in all, it's been an absolute cracking year. It's been a really good year. so far November, not great. October wasn't, if you guys remember, wasn't on stream for much of it. I was away. The first few weeks wasn't good, did struggle, but I bought it back, ended up in a small profit. So it wasn't great October, but still ended up in the blue, which is good. So far November is down a little bit personally, so all good. Don't stress, it's been a fantastic year all in all, still well up, so nothing to worry about. Continuing to be disciplined, trade the plan, trade the signals that I'm familiar with, and that's it. We'll turn it back around again. Any of the members in the chat, have a look at the message I just sent in to the VIP if you could, please. Today is Monday, so Monday is the educational session. We hold the education session on a Monday. Alright, Scalp bouncing off this support. So again, it just goes to show that impulse entry without the upper wick. Once again, we worked in this situation, would not have tapped into 50% in this zone though that I've drawn up. But irrespective, it's bounced off the support. So once again, these levels are quite true, as you guys see right on the stream, on the daily. Fish went up. AD CAD. I can take a look for you. Alright, not looked at this pair for a long time. Traded it years ago when I used to swing trade, was the last time I probably traded it. Alright, so do the top down quickly. Looking at the weekly, it's a tough one to know what to make of that because obviously it opened with a massive gap to the upside. It did close back a bearish candle. Once again though, that gap, it's actually closed above the low of, or the closure, sorry, of the previous weekly candle. Anyway, I'm just going to call it bearish. So I'm looking at the weekly candle itself in this case, and it's a bearish candle. Weak bearish, long wick knife direction. Very difficult to know what to make of that. Daily wise, the structure, I see it as technically bullish. This is the one impulse to the upside. There is no two or more consecutive candle pullback in the opposite direction just here. It's just a bit of a pause. That point is this support here around at 90-20 sort of level. So technically bullish, but very choppy price action at a very strong level of support by the looks of it. It's going to be difficult to find clean entries. 4 hour is also technically bullish, so we've got, once again, weekly, could I get top one based off the gap, but I'm gonna call it bearish. Daily bullish, 4 hour bullish, bouncing off a bit of a support here to the left. Don't yet have resistance confirmed at the support, but we would have something in a 30 minutes. So we are, again, actually bias is technically neutral, so the 30 is bearish, but once again it's based on levels at this point. Seeing we are now approaching a 4 hour support, what my preference would be is Would not be selling it into it because it could reject and bounce up really off any of the levels here to the left. So what I'd be doing is, we do approach the support. I'm looking to see where is the last point we formed a minor resistance. Now we may consolidate back at the support, and as soon as we begin to close above the consolidation, there could be options to buy it based off the 30-minute. Otherwise, at this rate, if this candle closes bearish, that will be the next minor level of resistance we've had on the move to the downside. So the issue with that, you're running straight to another level, but could be early buy options on a closure above, retest, continuation. Cleanest buy options at this point remain above the current daily candle's high. The current daily, not a great deal of volume, however, has formed a long wick to the upside, has obviously pulled back to create support. If it begun to pull back up and break its own high again, break the 30-minute resistance, we've got clean traffic to the left at that point there as well. There's a high probability that price would make a deeper pullback into that previous weekly candle. So buys above, potential buys above this 91.66 roughly, but not a great deal of margin. And the other option would be if price did pull back down to that support only to bounce off and then reject the most recent resistance, look for the sells below it again as well. And that's about it. I will not be looking for the sells upon continuation. Don't really like it, to be honest. That is my opinion of AUD CAD. Make of that what you will. Hopefully it made sense. Back to GJ. Not a problem, mate. All good.
Morning, Justin.
Good morning, Roberta. How are you?
Hi, all right. Would you mind having a look at the 15-minute candle on GJ just to see how it's approaching that level there? Oh, okay, so it's kind of decent.
Yeah, it's a lot of volume.
So the 15 minutes got 12 minutes to close. So you'd need something to close above at least, and then see what the next candle after that does.
Yeah,
So it's an hour.
Yeah, the only issue is also this current impulse. In order for it to do that, it's going to be more than 50 pips to the upside, so close to 60.
Which is the move.
It's a fair move, to be honest. Preference would be for a bit of a pullback prior to it. The only other option would be, because now you could say it is trending, what you've done is within the current daily candle, what it's done is create a series of higher lows. Or first of all, you create a low at the open, high, low, potentially creating a high. So what I probably prefer to see in this situation is decent closure above, about 5 pips or so above minimum, and then look for the limit order, because we are trending. So it's not like it's come from consolidation. And the thing is, the limit order, you're getting in a discounted price. You can get a better stop loss, so obviously have to be based off the 15. But you're taking anticipation this level is going to hold, so it is a little bit riskier, obviously.
Yeah. Is it with trend and with buyers?
Yes. It's well, it's with the 30-minute structure. It's with the daily structure as well.
Yeah.
Not with daily counter probabilities, but I feel there is enough confluences to potentially look for that option. Yeah, it's just the stop loss is something we need to consider, and I would prefer the closure above, because we have just, I mean, looking at the 15 as well, what it's done, or what price has recently done, is create that lower low. So if it did reject now, that swing point prior to the impulse down, this is just a pause, I don't consider that obviously a swing. then we could just be creating an equal high and maybe eventually come back down to retest this 197,830, which still not done. So I really like for it to close above, to be honest, and then potentially look for the continuation.
Yeah, but you would need at least one kind of pause candle above that level,
I would prefer
right?
it, in all honesty. Definitely.
At least 15 minutes.
It's definitely a preference.
Yeah.
Definitely, because if we were to reject and if it was potentially a fake out, there's no need to break that 15-minute candle's high, and we just end up back in the range below, head back down to the potentially support. But if it broke that minor resistance, only just above on that pause, the 15-minute candle, next likely destination is the next level to the left, which isn't a great deal of margin, but you could look to manage it either way. Make sure you break even when it taps in. And
how many pips are there from one zone to the next?
Well, from above the 15-minute bearish candle, which confirms the resistance, the highest point of that candle, there's 13 pips. So once you're counting with spread, and also depending on where the candle closes, how far it closes into the range above, obviously you're going to have a bit less than that. It's a little bit tight.
Yeah.
All these, obviously, is you know, remember a lot of things to take into consideration.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a move for later in the week, really.
Yeah, it could. I mean, there's, like I mentioned as well, DJ begins to break that previous weekly candle, and that one beside it, it could be off the races yet again. You got some really clean traffic across the board.
Yeah.
Above that point. So as we can see, that's to the left. So that's pretty clean move down. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I think it could be late in the week because I'm gonna doubt the volume, to be honest. With the bank holidays.
Yeah, and it's just too tight a space up there.
For that, yeah, to get involved in buys above.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's just, there's volume, but it just tends to be bouncing off the resistance down to greater support, but not tapped into the previous level yet. So it's where it could still head back down to.
I wonder if what did the 5 minute look like on when it rejected that level there? Okay.
Yeah, difficult based off that. But again, that's one thing I'm looking into more of. Definitely over the break around Christmas, New Year, because I've noticed how price just reacts at levels and how you can potentially get quick entries and get to you know, your 10 plus pips pretty quickly in most occasions. What I'm going to trial is more the 4-hour levels.
Yeah.
But there's no harm in looking at the 30-minute levels as well, and even seeing if you can try to find some sort of regular occurrence on maybe the 1 minute or the 3 minute. But again, it's not something I'm just going to start trading, you know.
Yeah.
Willy-nilly. I have to find reason to take it. I have to have enough data, and it has to be proven that it's something that could work.
Yeah.
But just by eyeballing on the stream, I mean, you guys in the chat would know how often did the price bounce off the levels and make a pretty solid reaction to it. I mean, the newest entry type on gold, I mean, right now it's tapped into the 50%. You can just see that. But prior to it, that may have been a very risky entry, but it did tap into the support. It did bounce off it. Did have no upper wick. Did flip, make a move up. Now it's rejecting. Has it tapped into the 50? I'm pretty sure it has. Right on it. And it's definitely bounced more than 10 pips, but look more, it's basically at 10 pips right now. So very important to there is no correct way though. I mean, it's all subjective how people mark up zones. Some just use horizontals, don't even have a zone. But we see time and time again on the stream how often price reacts and respects our levels. Reacts to them and respects them. It's just under 4 minutes. Let's see when this candle does close. And that's another thing I'm definitely testing more over the break. The little interruption entry based off the 5 minutes. So I've got the data to prove that it works on the 30 and 15. I do trade it on the 30 and 15. The next thing for me is to test the 5 minute when I have a bit more time. And that's something I'll do, and it would have worked on this occasion. With very little drawdown. About 1.5 to 2 pips. Yeah, about 1.5 pips. Latte, may I please know the levels of support resistance for gold to buy, sell? They're the levels I've got marked in, but it doesn't mean you just buy it or sell it at that level. That's the thing. You need confirmations. You need to see our price approaches those levels. You want to see what happens once it does pop above it. So the level I've got marked in for potential buy is 2674.33 to be exact. 2674.33. But once again, doesn't mean I just set a buy stop right now, because I want to see how price reacts to it. We're just consolidating. I never take an entry out of consolidation, because what it could do is it could easily just do this, where it looks like you're going to be hero, it's going to make a big move, and then all of a sudden, so he pulls back, it maybe gets to 3-4 pip profit, and then just pulls right back and closes below. Then you're in massive drawdown on with to the upside like so. Then we end up back at the support on the following candle. So you need to really watch how price approaches those levels that I mark in. But when it's in consolidation, I never take an impulse entry. Need to wait for a stronger confirmation to prove that we're ready to move away from the consolidation. The fact of the matter is, sometimes it's just going to go without you and make a big impulse up and you're not in it. But if you get a confirmation like so, then there could be an option for a buy on the following candle. It breaks the high of the catalyst. But as sells, one thing you need to consider is below, you've got some more support to the left. So for the sells, the preference for me would be to let it cut through some of that, then pull back, create a clean pullback, open up the range below, look for rejection, and then for a more high probability entry on a sell. That is my opinion of it. But if that's the eventuate today, I mean, who knows? But the lack of potential liquidity with the bank holidays in France, parts of Europe, and US, obviously. You may not necessarily have the volume. Alright, GJ's closed, M30, and we're closed not above resistance, closed right at the low of the resistance. So I don't have a valid entry for a potential buy. 15 end up closing quite a strong bullish candle, so no, we don't yet have anything to suggest that we are exhausting. What I would like to see in this situation now is perhaps for this 15 minutes to close back a bearish candle, and then if the following 15 was to engulf and close above, then I can consider this potentially as a pause and we could be ready to head back up. But it's flipping just now. I'm not gonna jump into this. I'm gonna wait. It's just straight bullish from the lows at the 5-minute pauses, and that's it. I want to see how price reacts because it could be sell options still.
What would you, Justin?
Yeah.
What would you have needed to see on the 5-minute right there when it rejected that support?
For a sell?
For a buy.
For a buy?
For a buy from those, yeah, for a buy from that support level that, you know,
from here?
when it rejected with the rigs, yeah, with the wicks. Mm-hmm.
All right, for me, first of all, it technically wasn't an entry because we had not tapped into the level I wanted it to tap into. Nor had we formed any support on the 30, even the 15. So I've not tested on the 5, something again I may do so. But what I was referring to is, see how we got that pause just there?
Yeah.
And obviously prior to, we had a few clean bullish candles up. One candle closing back in the opposite direction, only to be followed by an engulfing candle.
Yeah.
So that would suggest that maybe ready to continue up. This is just a little bit of a pause, and I would have set a buy limit at the high of that bearish candle. Stop loss back below the low of that catalyst candle, and you're obviously targeting the highs. So the catalyst being the engulfing candle. Now on the 5-minute, so on the 30-minute, I look for about it, and the 15-minute, I look for about a 5 pip plus closure above or below on GJ engulfing. And on gold, it has to be a minimum of around 8. On the 5-minute, because I've not tested it out, I would probably say when I test it out, I would not be surprised if when you get a closure maybe 3 pips above. That could be enough. That could be plenty on the 5-minute for GJ, maybe 5 on gold. That's pretty much what I want to see. Closure above, retest of that bearish candle high. That's your entry. But as far as buys from down here, nothing for me. Perhaps moving forward, I will test it out to see how I can get involved lower down based off using maybe a 5 and a 15. No worries, Roberta, all good. So it's rejecting just now. So again, these levels holding. Joel, customer, would you consider 8 AM candle an option using volume targeting the 7:45 AM wick? Bill, 7.5 pips, continuation, top of the range. You're talking about retesting the high 7:45 AM. Are you talking about as a limit order? So hold on, I get times right. That's the 7:45 because this is 15 minutes to London Open. Obviously, I'm in a different time zone. All right, so market order entering at 8 AM. 10 minute. Oh, okay. You're talking about. All right, so you're talking about a break of this point on the London Open candle. would I consider an option? I mean, as far as counter probabilities, it is, because you got the 30-minute as well. You're closing bullish, and you got London Open candle creating high, low, high, high, targeting the wick. Yeah, I get what you mean, but once again, in regards to my playbook, this candle itself is not bullish engulfing. Yes, it's strong bullish, but it does not have a higher high, higher low. Nor do I have a minor resistance forming within the 15. I don't really have my catalyst, but I can understand it. My concern would be that level there, and that's about 4 pips up. But yeah, I definitely understand it. Personally, I wouldn't take it though. But all good. Thank you for the question. Appreciate it. Because once again, I've got to play to my strengths, and for me, that I don't have a signal within price action. Yes, it's a strong candle, it's a nice support, but I just don't have any sort of signal to take it. And plus, it could have rejected that support it had actually broken. So that level. On the retest, supposed to do close above it, so it's not really that relevant, but yeah, anyway. All right, so what I want to see for sales, well, potentially now 15-minute is not sufficient enough at this stage, and want this candle's close strong bearish low, and that needs to be followed by, once again, it's just playing to my strengths, a weak bullish candle. What we would have done is form support at resistance, still closing back the 30-minute a strong bearish candle, look somewhat like so. So the 30 minutes going to close bearish at resistance. Then I can look to potentially sell the following candles. You begin to break that 15-minute support and break the low of the 30-minute catalyst, the catalyst 30-minute bearish candle at resistance. Because once again, I'm likely not going to get a bearish engulfing candle. If I did get a bearish engulfing candle, I would not have the margin to sell it back down to the low, and the stop loss would be too wide. So in this situation, that is what I'd prefer to see. And again, you can have preferences, but the market can do whatever the hell it wants to do. So what we need to do is just wait, and if it gives us our signal, we react. If not, we just chill and understand that it's just not our opportunity. Again, yes, it is a boring way to trade because you're not always in and out of trades, but I tell you, I mean, you guys see it works if you have the patience to let it play out. Luke, you can explain why you wouldn't look to enter off 15-minute bearish engulfing. That's not my time frame, especially on GJ. Gold's a little bit different, but not on GJ. Against the volume of the previous 30-minute candle, once again, a 15 could just potentially be a pause, and then only to be engulfed by the following M15, we end up back above the resistance. So if this candle was a very weak bullish candle, maybe it's a different story. So if we approach, and let's just say we're at closure like so, then I'd consider it potentially off the 15-minute, because it looks like we're exhausting at that resistance, running out of steam on the approach. So the 15 minutes prior to any potential entry, maybe close like so. Then you have the first, 30 minute. Then you have the first 15-minute closing bearish engulfing to the actual M30, which would obviously, or more than likely, engulf the previous 15-minute candle. And based off that, I may consider it based on the factors that are resistance as well. But without that sort of confirmation, with the strength of the previous 30-minute bullish candle, I wouldn't trust it, not for 15-minute. So again, maybe I'm a little bit too picky, I don't know, but there's reason for it because I know it's what works. Doesn't mean it works for everyone else. But for me, that's what works. All good, mate, all good. Rick, gold waking up, volume's coming. Still consolidating, mate, that's the only thing. So once again, we're just building up orders at this rate. That's all this is, consolidation. Consolidation is where the volume is being built, or where the volume is. Once there's enough of it, that's when the market will make another move, whether it be to the upside or downside. No one knows, but I need to wait for a confirmation. Sharif? Yeah, I know, man. I probably so true, and I still only get, you know, 30 people on the stream, but I'm sure you guys appreciate it. So once again, I don't really have any sort of analyst yet. Don't need your head though. I don't have lice, there's no head, no hair on top of it, so probably a mosquito bite. Pretty relaxed mood in the markets by the looks of things as far as news wise. Let's check. Have a look at fastball. This is more up to date. Still talking about monkeypox. Not jabbing me anymore, that's for sure. I don't give a shit. Surge is 50% past 5 days. No prizes for guessing why, with obviously Trump and Musk behind it. Rick, when you along the flip on pound candle? Was that my PC last few minutes? No, we're not. You talking about GJ? No. Still below resistance. Good thing is we potentially getting a little bit of a positive in price action. I would love for this 15 minutes close week bearish at the resistance, and then if that was to be followed by a candle that closes just above the resistance, giving me enough to at least manage it into this 198.55 sort of level, and I could consider that as a potential buy option. But I'm definitely not longing the flip of it. Also, got to consider the hourlies in towards its last 15 minutes. So based off that, I'd rather wait to see if I can get my little pause and then potentially trade it on the new hourly if this candle closed above. It's all good. It's only Monday, so plenty of time for trades. Yeah, this isn't great as far as potential entries for me. Looks like we're gonna just continue straight bullish. Once again, I'm not going to take it off the 5. I'm not going to try to force my way in after last week. I'm just going to personally chill. Beats, appreciate it. It'd be nice if we would smash the like button. Yeah, so GJ is looking like it could continue. Once again, I just don't have my price action catalyst. For those who are interested, 15 looks pretty good. As far as, I mean, the reason is because it's got a long liquidity wick into the range below. Has spent a fair part of it being bearish, only for it to close back now right at the high. New candle, just a bit of low wick, and that could be a potential entry. But for me, I don't have my catalyst on a 30, so it's not strong enough, especially being on a Monday. Wouldn't be touching gold today, but I just don't trust it right now. And for GJ to be a sell, it needs to close right back near the low of this bullish candle, this M15. Closing the hourly below, closing the M30 bearish below. That would be a trigger. That would definitely be a catalyst to sell it. But at this rate, it doesn't look so likely. And there it goes, popping up. A bit of volume. Yeah, so that's be a end to the stream. I think I'm not gonna get an option just now. GCAD. Well, the first part of the move is played out where it's made a nice clean move down. Now looks like it's trying to make a nice clean move back up, and then the sells become an option upon rejection again of the Asian session highs to resistance. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. I'm not gonna get GJ at the moment. So to conclude, what I probably like to see moving forward is nice clean pulse. Just even if it does make a pause, not a problem. Similar scenario to what I wanted to see here. Wait for it to pull back, retest the most recent resistance, the resistance it's currently breaking out, then look for your buy option. That's what I'd be looking at. As far as sells, I mean, be careful because the daily is forming a very strong bullish candle, but I'd be just patient with it and wait for it to maybe pop up a little bit higher and see how price reacts to resistance here at 198. 840, roughly 850 to 90, and if you get the right signal within price action, seeing it would have made pretty nice move up, higher low, higher high, strong impulse. Probably want to see a bit more than just one candle. You probably want to see a little bit of consolidation, bit of support, and wait for price to start popping below it for your more probable entries on GJ. That's pretty much it. Gold, again, I won't be bothering after probably an hour, which is about to end into London session. To be honest, I just don't trust the volume today for the bank holidays. So that's a wrap, guys. Yeah, what can you do? Early in the week, so we'll come back tomorrow, and we'll see what we can do on the charts tomorrow. If you could, if you're not done so, hit the like button. Again, if you're not following me on TikTok, do so. Link I shared in the chat a little bit further up, and make sure to follow me on IG as well for regular updates. And that's about it. Join the free Discord, and if you're interested in VIP, links for that are also down below. Yeah, so cheers, guys. Trade safe, have a good one. Members, I shall see you in probably about 10-15 minutes, and have a good one, guys. Cheers, catch you later.